What is this magic? I need that magic.
So what I'm doing right now is sewing down the wave. That is like the second bundle. So I'm at the last stage, the last end of the second bundle. So I'm just sewing that down. Then afterwards, I moved to the last bundle and I realized that I don't have enough space. I would need like two bundles to complete this whole patch here. So I had to like improvise. And that is what I'm showing you in this video on how to improvise when you have a lot of space and less weaves, less bundles to sew. So some people would divide the weft into two, but I don't want to mess it up because the the hair will start shedding. So I just use this method. So what I did is that I used the last bundle and make a measurement. That's what I'm doing right now. So instead of me starting from where I stopped with the second bundle, I'm starting from the middle. So that is like the middle of the forehead, the middle of the ones that has been sewn down. That is like the first weave and the second weave and the closure. So that is a middle right there for me. And then I'm gonna use tip pins to just pin it down so that way it's like secured. So after I'm done securing it with tip pins, I would have like one track to the left, one track to the right. So now the track to the other side, which is gonna be my right, yes, that one. I'm just gonna flip it to see if I should use that to sew around, but I saw that it was small, so I couldn't use that. I had to leave that track. So I've been using the track to my left, which is the one I'm knitting right now, to complete the rest of the weave to the closure. And what I'm gonna do right now is just to sew like a half part of the track down so that way it's like more secured, and then
your body banging, banging. Oh, me say, baby, shake it, yo. Don't you keep me waiting. Shawty, give me that, yo. Make a fan of skibby that, yo. I love the way you shaking that, yo. Yo. Bang, bang, bang. Mommy, feel me, akaida. Mommy, feel me, kukuma.
so I'm gonna stop right there and cut the thread and tie a knot. So I'm tying a knot on the thread as well. Then I'm taking up the tipping, then I'm flipping the weave over, and I will just continue sewing. So the first thing I'm doing is just to secure the place I turned over, like flipped over, and I'm gonna use a tipping to secure that down. And what I just did from here was to just sew till I got to the closure. So which I'm just gonna show halfway. I wouldn't really show all the process of sewing to the closure because that is not why we're here. I'm sorry, my voice kind of like okay, all right, because that is not why we're here. We're here, you know, on something else on how to make your weave enough. So the part of me sewing till the closure and the part of me making a wig is in a separate video, which I'll be showing you the thumbnail at the end of this video, so you can click and watch that part. And if you have, thank you. And I'll also leave the link in the description box, so either way it's gonna take you to the video. So voila, I'm done. I already see it to the closure. So now let us start our video. Okay, I had to show this process from the beginning so that way you would know where I stopped from the first video, the wave. So right now what I'm doing is now going to the space I left behind. I left a huge space. Now this part is where that was the middle. I secured the weave and divided the track into like the one on my left, the one on my right. So I'm just what I'm doing is just like taking the weave out of the way using a scrunchie. Did I pronounce that right? I don't know how to pronounce that word, but yeah. And So if you remember, I only sew this track, the middle. I sew it to like I would say cutaway, not halfway. So I'm gonna start sewing from there, but at first I need to get my needle from there. So just cutting the thread as usual and tying a knot, and then I'll start sewing. So that is the part I will start sewing from now, and I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna make sure this part is slow so that way you would see what I'm doing. So I'm sewing under the weft, not through the weft, now under the weft, and then I tie a knot. So I'll put the needle under the weft, through the dome cap, and then tie a knot. So by tying a knot, the thread is so long, that's why you can't really see me. So what I did is that I put the needle in between that circle, and that just tie in and get locked in. So I'm gonna explain to you again. So I'm putting the needle through under the weft, then through the cap, then put the needle through the circle and tie a knot. And by circle I mean like the circle the thread makes. And I will repeat the step all through. So I'm at the end of that line, so now I'm flipping over. So because the space is huge, you can see that I also put it in the middle, not close to either of the track, like the one on top, the one below, just in the middle. So that's me taking the measurements, then I'm just putting the tipping to secure it right there, and then I'll just start sewing. So I'm gonna use the needle to just get the hair out of the way and use a clip to hold it down so that way it doesn't, mess up with me. So right now I'm sewing through the weft. Anytime I flip a hair over, I sew through the weft so that way it can be secured, and I tie a knot. Most time I don't, because since I'm sewing the weft I know it's secured, but at times I tie knots, which I just did not. I tied a knot here. So same way, and tie a knot. So after I sew down that part, then I'll just sew regular as I do, which is sewing under the weft, through the cap, and tie a knot. And that's why the video is fast now. So I'll make some parts slow so that way you can see what I'm doing, and some parts fast so we can be done, on time, and this video is not too long because it's as long as it is right now. So almost finishing this this line. So at times I make a double knot, and that's what I did, like, just rolling the thread on the needle 2 times. So it depends on the mode. But it's good to do that once in a while sewing, to just make some parts extra secured, so even if a thread cut in one part, it would not affect the other part. But with you tying a knot like once or 2 times or 3 times, no thread is even gonna cut out. It will be secured.
go control your body. He said she not be control the body. Girl, I promise you won't be sorry.
So I'm about to flip over to the other side. So you know we're flipping backward now. So I'm gonna lift the hair up and try and make it look neat and get it out of the way so it doesn't, like disturb me when I'm sewing the hair down. So this is me just finger combing it to just get it out of the way and remove all form of tangles, because when you're sewing backward, it's a little bit, messy, so you just have to make sure you do it as neat as possible. This is me just flipping it to the other side to see if that will be enough, and this part I would be sewing through the weft and through the cap so that it can be secured, because this part is like very, very sensitive. It's like the extreme edge of the cap. So through the weft and make sure it's secured, and I'm making sure there's no space in between. I'm sewing it as close as possible, and then I'll flip over, use a T-pin to secure it down and to the middle. So you would see that I'm leaving a lot of space between whatever track I'm doing, not too close because we have less track to work with, so we want to manage. And then I'll start sewing. After sewing through the weft and through the cap, then I'll start sewing under the weft and under the cap and tie a knot. So I would explain clearer and better how to tie a knot with this part of the video, this section of the video, because the thread is shorter now, so it's more clear and you would see all the process clearly. So put the needle under the weft through the cap, then the needle through that circle from the thread and tie a knot. So needle under the weft through the cap and use your finger to make a circle like I did, and just put the needle through that circle and tie a knot. Same process, and through that circle and tie a knot. So the other time I was explaining how to tie a knot, the thread was longer. That was why you couldn't see the process. So I hope you saw the process through this, in this section of the video. So the next thing I will do is to take out the thread from the last place I stopped, from the second bundle, which I'll be doing in a few minutes. I'll just take out the thread from that part. So I'm using the T-pin, I'm putting it through the knot tied and through the thread carefully, and just pull it out with the T-pin, and I'll just go over with my hand and pull it out. And you want to do this part careful so that way you don't create a hole in the dome cap, and I'm using a T-pin to just take it out. If you remember, like when I started this video, this was where the second bundle ended, so I need to take it out so that way I can make sure I match it to be on the same line with the other track I brought over. So now I'm finishing up the other track I brought over, and there's still a huge space between the two, and I remembered, oh yeah, I have a leftover track from when I finished the track which is close to the closure, but then I was done sewing the weight, just like a tiny piece of a track. So I'm just gonna like sew that to join both sides together, and I'll just continue sewing, following my same method of sewing through the under the weft, through the cap, and then tie a knot till I am done. So I'm at the end now, so I'm gonna tie a knot and then tie another knot with this thread from the needle and the other thread hanging from when I took out the thread from the other track. I know this sentence is like long, but remember when I was like taking out the thread from the other track, I made sure I left a long track so that I can tie a knot. And that's why I use a tip-in to take out the thread instead of using a scissors or a blade, because that will make it have a loose or loophole, and it's gonna like start coming out when you're like brushing the wig or putting your fingers through. So that was why I use a tip-in, so that way I will be able to tie a knot and it's gonna make it secured. So I'm at the top now, so what I'm doing is like sectioning to like comb it down to lay it flat, you know, just making it look neat. And you can see that there's no space at all, lifting it up, no space between the track, is all full. So even if the wind blows your hair, nobody can see the track or space because you already like completed it. So what I'm gonna do is to spray water on it and use a, you know, tail comb to just comb down the straight part, not the body wave. Now the body wave, use your fingers to finger comb it. And you can proceed to watch how I styled this wig, which you're gonna see the thumbnail at the end of this video. Alright, beautiful, wonderful ladies. Thank you for sticking to the end of this long video. So until my next video, stay beautiful always. But before I go, have you subscribed? Why haven't you subscribed? What are you waiting for? Join this family. So subscribe, and also don't forget to hit the notification bell so that way you don't miss any notifications when I upload video. So until my next video, peace.